Hello, Nicole Trope, and welcome to Better Reading.
Hello, and thank you for having me.
Now, we're at the Lindfield Bookshop, and we're talking to Nicole about her new book, Blame. This is actually your fifth book, is that right?
Yes, it is.
And Nicole's going to talk to us about her book, how it came about, and a little bit about writing. Now, firstly, I'm going to read a description of Blame. It's really suspenseful, it's hard-hitting, it's gripping, and it really offers a terrible twist on family violence and a telling exploration of female friendship. Now, those subjects are quite topical, aren't they? Can you talk to me about how this story came about, Nicole?
I think it came from a number of different sources. I think it started, I saw something on the television, glimpsed it briefly, two people telling their story in separate police interview rooms, and I thought, oh, that's an interesting setup. And quite soon, there were two women, and I thought, well, what are they doing? And then because I read a lot of women's websites, and there's a lot of stuff about motherhood and struggling with motherhood and struggling with issues of motherhood. And indeed, especially today, the discussion around autism has increased exponentially. And reading quite a few of those articles, I started wondering what it would be like to raise a child with autism. And the story developed from there.
Now, your books do tend to carry that family, traditional children theme, but yet they're so full of suspense and so full of intrigue. And often I hear the word that, life is stranger than fiction. How much truth do you think is in fiction, and how much truth do you think is in Blame?
Look, I think there's a lot of truth. When I do whatever I write about, I do an exceptionally large amount of research, and I start with what doctors and psychiatrists and psychologists are writing, and then I move on to personal stories. And I don't think I could ever write a book that would be stranger than what actually happens in real life. So there are things going on in the world that flabbergast me constantly, and my first instinct is to judge mothers and people in situations like that. And then the second thing I do is go, why did you judge, and how do you know? And then I start looking for the answers as to how this person became who they are, how their lives developed this way, and why it is what it is.
That's really insightful in terms of writing. Now, listen, if you're going to give me one pitch line, one really strong pitch about Blame, firstly, if you love Jodie Picoult, you will love Nicole Trope. But one line for our readers of why they should read Blame. Have a think.
I am having a think. Basically, as a mother, I would want to read a book like Blame. I think it addresses questions that we have as mothers and feelings we have as mothers that we battle with all the time, even in less extreme situations than the women are in Blame. And even if you're not a mother, if you've ever had a best friend, you'll want to read Blame.
Well, I tell you what, I really wanted to read it, and I couldn't put it down. It's gripping, it's suspenseful, and I tell you what, it is. If you do have a best friend, you'll be asking yourself some questions. Thank you, Nicole, and thank you for joining us at Lindfield Bookshop.
Thank you so much for having me.